Glad to welcome you to the show this morning on ITV. As you know, we always look into issues in order to deepen practice concerning how to make the government better for it, for the citizenry. And we always say this and share light into this, that you take away the people from the government, then government could cease to exist. My name is Philip Omo. We look into what makes the government usually embark on borrowing spree, and just recently, before the one that came up just recently, we had a $516 million loan that have been begging for questions about what could be an end to this aspect of borrowing in Nigeria. Well, the federal government did say that the money, $516 million loan, will be used for the Sokoto Superhighway, Sokoto-Lagos Superhighway. And again, a recent one just popped in, and economists will tell you that there's nothing wrong in borrowing, but what you use the money for is another issue. And of course, we expect that all of this will be tackled headlong, where we see respite coming in economic reforms, and of course, build up capacity in economic boost in Nigeria. Just recently, there's another begging for a response from the World Bank, $1.25 million. And again, that is raising questions, because that will also increase our external debt to 76 trillion naira. Of course, our public debt total will be over 160 trillion naira. Well, joining me is Anu Oluwapo Stevens. Good morning, Anu.
Good morning, Philip.
Yeah, does that surprise you, or what do you have to say in that direction?
Well, certainly not, because the issue of borrowing, I feel it's kind of like synonymous now to the current government of the day. But let's actually have context to this current loan that is actually in the pipe, just to put it out there that it has not been approved yet. But the proposed loan is titled Nigeria Action for Investment and Jobs Acceleration, and it's expected to be presented for approval on June 26, 2026. About 6 months and 21 days before the January 16th, 2027 presidential election. Now, according to the revised timetable of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, so if this loan is approved, the loan will rank as the second largest single World Bank facility secured under President Bola Tinubu, behind only the $1.5 billion reforms for economic stabilization to enable transformation development policy financing approved in June 2024. Now, let's even talk about the country's total debt as it stands today. You should be aware of this, that the country's public total debt would rise. It would also rise from 159.28 trillion naira, as it is actually standing now, right, to at least 160.98 trillion naira. Now, in dollar terms, Nigeria's total public debt could rise from $110.97 billion to about $112.22 billion if the facility is eventually approved and fully disbursed. So over time in Nigeria, we've actually dragged the current administration. Nigerians have, why we keep on borrowing every single time. And I remember in a recent interview with the president had, when he was speaking at a FEC meeting in Abuja, he said that borrowing is not leprosy. According to him, borrowing is not leprosy, and if they have the need and see the need to borrow, they would definitely borrow again. Now, this is still the same government where the presidency, with the spokesperson Bayo Onanuga, reacting and responding to persons calling in on why we keep on borrowing, and he said that borrowing is not a sin. Really, what is actually needed is what is done with all of the monies. And just recently, we also had another video that went viral with the former Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi, where he said, why are we still borrowing with all of the monies, all of the FEC allocation that the state governors are receiving at this point? Why do we still keep on having those humongous monies being borrowed? What is being done with the fuel subsidies, savings that we ought to have? What is happening there? Well, on the other side, we're having an insane conversation regarding perhaps it's all being kept for election come 2027. So it's really quite a whole lot that is happening right now with the politicking arena in Nigeria. A lot of things to talk about, Philip.
Well, they say the more you look, the less you see. And if you
Absolutely.
look into that, you critique that. It's going to tell you the Nigerian story about what politics is about, and of course what the leaders do every day. Not forgetting the fact that Nigeria has been all through this. You may mention a fact concerning the fuel subsidy removal that's expected to have earned some savings.
Right.
But again, what are we doing with that? And the writer of this narrative, I don't know why the correlation with it that has to do with the presidential election. But he said, just 6 months to and 21 days to the presidential election. This one is coming up.
What does this mean?
It's for the Sokoto Superhighway.
Yeah.
But for us to have the election reminding us about a few months to the election, well, that could also tell us what politicians may be thinking in the offing in that report. But, well, we just want to believe that the Nigerian government should be proactive and not reactive, and should make sure that it finds all lasting solutions to the problems before it. And it's not bad, like the economists would say, in borrowing, but what do you use the money for? We keep borrowing and of course spending it on recurrent expenditures, but what about the capital the projects which the president did say that he's going to embark upon? But let's see how that goes. Some will say, well, we have roads that are connected, but they're bad. So why don't you, first of all, place attention on fixing these roads that are connected before looking for roads where there are no roads? But we want to believe that these projects will come to fruition, and of course, it won't be an abandoned project in the course of the day. Well, we will also be joined from the Abuja studio, where we have good morning. Good to have you join us from Abuja.
Good morning, Philip. Good morning, Patricia and Noah Luakbo. Very good morning to you, Nigerians. Welcome to This Morning on ITV, a program that all the time, give you all that you need to know concerning politics, and what have you. And today in Abuja studio, which will be in the issue of DC, zoning the presidential ticket to the south. The APC already has that with President Bola Tinubu. The ADC is yet to, with the zoning. And that's why, from what we have seen in the ADC, the northern one that has the fund, and for the PRP, for the APP, well, the issue simply remains if you have the kit. South may, have a seamless process in terms of, challenging the APC's candidate, who is, of course, the sitting president. In 2023, the votes of all the opposition parties put together was more than the vote garnered by the APC. I mean, over 14 votes compared to the 14 million votes compared to the 8 million votes that the president scored. So if the various political parties contending to unseat the president can't come together, have a particular zone, to be presented as the presidential candidate, it may go a long way in the battle to unseat President Bola Tinubu. But of course, the issue, coalition and all the political parties coming together to present a single candidate like is done in, of course, the U.S., may also give the president run for his money. But how can that happen is what we shall be looking at in today's edition of the program, This Morning on ITV.
Thank you so much, Joseph Kadri. A lot you said there concerning politics and basically who's going to be in the #1 seat of the president, come 2027. And of course, sometimes you wonder, it raises a lot of questions. Politicians do seek power. But again, after they've gotten power, do they concentrate that power to serve the people? well, they usually call themselves public servants, but sometimes I want to question what they do in office, because they are supposed to give account of it, most especially when they make promises and at the end of the day, the promises fly without being fulfilled. Well, good morning, Patricia Gabrus from Lagos studio. You look great. Well, we sincerely apologize for the poor connectivity from Lagos studio. Many things happen when we talk about politics, and we understand the fact that, you know, the deadline for defections by virtue of the register that should be submitted to INEC, you know, elapsed at 10th May, just 2 days ago. Absolutely. So again, that shows that the defections saga, you know, for those who want to be players in the 2027, is closed. But again, the crisscross that went on, all of the rampage that went on prior to the deadline, really raises questions about what are politicians really working about for? Absolutely. Are they really after the people, or are they after their pockets?
Well, in the words of the presidency, Bayo Nanuga precisely, he says he called Peter Obi a political nomad. So any of the politicians who move from one party to another, you attack a political nomad. But I think most of politicians in Nigeria, there is no one single person that has a cross carpet from one party to another. Even the current president that we have, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at some point or the other, he moved. Okay, so it's not a new thing, but it was really funny and hilarious for those persons who were questioning the movement of Rabiu Kwankwaso and Peter Obi to the NDC, and they did say that, you know what, we're going to stay in the ADC. At the 11th hour, I was shocked to my marrow to see some persons move to the NDC, and it says a lot about the kind of, you know, political persons that we have in the country. Are you really moving for the interest of the citizens, or you're moving for yourself? Do we practice ideology in Nigeria? I know we've had the conversation several times, and we've actually stamped it on the fact that I don't think we practice a politics of ideology in Nigeria like we have in, you know, other parts of the world, where we have the Labour and then we have, you know, the other one. But I remember Peter Obi during the NDC convention that happened on Saturday, where he said that, I know a lot of persons are saying, oh, you've moved from this party to this party and then to this party. He said that he's doing it for the good of Nigerians. And then there are some persons that would move because of selfish reasons. Well, but for him, he had to, you know, switch both so as to ensure that we have a better Nigeria, and so that Nigeria will be okay, if you know what I mean.
Nigeria basically will be okay, and it depends on the electorate to determine what's going to happen. The presidential election that is forthcoming, and of course, a lot of things could happen, but let's get to make you know that as the electorate, you determine who gets what, when, and how. And so I think we should play down, or we should make sure we find a way to minimize our appetite on, you know, collecting money just because we want to vote one candidate in or whatever. But if we spend the money we've collected in just a pot of soup for a day or two, what happens to the remaining years that person will be in office?
Did you say pot of soup? Bread, actually.
Even bread, a loaf of bread.
How to get a big pot of soup right now? I don't think 5,000 naira would do. How much do they share? And
basically, that's what they share. And so, well, it's up to the electorate to determine that. And we want to see how politicians are going to get it at this time without the electorate, you know, determining it. Well, this much we can take on this opening, but don't forget, we will be looking into the recent happenings, outbreak of the hantavirus. You know, we just some years back had the pandemic of COVID-19, and again we have this hit of hantavirus. What could this mean for the world, and what could be the challenges that this hantavirus is coming with? I think you will be basically wowed when we have the opportunity to engage with a professor from Novena University, Delta State, and a person of Professor Cyril Otoikian. We'll take a short break after we dive in on the Bon Appetit. Do stay.
In a rare display of botanical brilliance, the palm tree defied natural norms, sprouting multiple branches that bear fruits. This rare occurrence has become a wonder to many, as experts are calling it a one-in-a-million phenomenon. Could this multiple-headed marvel hold secret to agricultural breakthroughs, or is it simply a freak accident of nature? An agronomist with Nigeria Institute for Oil Palm Research, NIFOR Benin, the strange palm tree also raises issues of a blend of science with human interest and cultural significance for maximum impact.
Yeah, we have to quickly gather pages of the newspapers delivered before we take our first interview, where Professor Cyril Otaikina will be looking into the issues of antivirus. Well, first read on the pages of the newspaper is on the Daily Independent, and what we have here on the Daily Independent, the big headline begging for attention says, costs of living crisis hollows out Nigeria's insurance sector. That's a big one there, and of course, we get to the top of the cover page. It says Nigeria EU WHO scale up response to 4 major disease outbreaks. And that's actually what is really hitting headlines on outbreaks of diseases and how to tackle it headlong. Fresh crisis looms as ASU accuses federal government of breaching 2025 pact. That's another one. Can we ever have a break on strike actions? Of course, the government will have that to respond to. All right, this says, Ramaphosa condemns attacks on foreign nationals in South Africa. You get that on page 7. And Adeleke deposes Osun monarch sentenced to prison in the U.S. You get that on page 6. INEC to mobilize 1.4 million core members for 2027 election. You get it on page 29. And of course, APC denies disqualifying Fubara loyalists for Rivers Assembly. Nigeria headline indicators stabilize, but fiscal pressures persist. and a lot here. Well, let's get this. It says federal government scraps UTMA requirement for NCE applicants. Pegs varsity cut-off mark at 150 and poly at 100. Are we improving or we are not? Well, cut-off mark for universities 150. That's a big one. Well,
you know, there was actually a report that actually says the current generation, the Gen Z, the Generation Z,
yeah.
I think the IQ is a bit lower than the millennial, and that has sparked conversation as regards where are we moving forward or we're moving backward? How did we get here? And in the next couple of years, what are we going to be seeing? Who are those that are going to be our doctors? Because right now, every single young person, a Gen Z, just want to be on social media, content creator, and make money, online, fast. Right? So I don't know if the federal government is still into that decision, because I remember, you know, a couple of years ago, it was pegged at 200 for the benchmark for, you know, the minimum for admission into schools, and now we're seeing 150. Okay,
well, don't forget again, there's this gap between the northern region and, of course, the southern region in terms of academic performance. Could that also be the reason? Like you said, there could be multifarious reasons for this, but let's see how it goes. And that's it on the Daily Independent headlines.
Now, the Daily Sun newspaper is up next, leading with the major headline that says, rules for 11th Assembly. Senate sets 14-day deadline for senators-elect to be sworn in. Subwriter says to declare seats vacant thereafter. On page 6, details of that on the Daily Sun today. Anambra begins crackdown on suspected fake doctors. Well, Chukwuma Charles Soludo doing the Lord's work right there in Anambra State on page 29. In business news, banks withdraw 1.76 trillion naira from CBN, keep more cash ahead of elections. Okay, well, malpractice, WAEC unveils tough measures for 1.9 million candidates. Subwriter says promises to avert last year's errors, leading to review of results on page 26. PGF crisis, forum demands Tinubu's intervention on page 5. Federal government okays 150 minimum admission score for varsities nursing colleges. Subwriter says fixes 100 for polytechnics, waives UTME for NCE applicants. ASU warns of industrial crisis over delay in agreement implementation. And finally, on the Daily Sun this morning, federal government reforms reason economy thriving despite U.S.-Iran war global crisis. Who is speaking? Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State, on page 26.
Oh, well, let's look at the Daily Trust, where issues concerning security is still raising questions. And we have it on the Daily Trust. Says, is Tinubu changing security architecture? That's a question someone should answer. And of course, let's look at it on the top of the headlines. It says, top of the cover page, it says 16-year-old Daniela Owoye emerges 2026 UTMA highest scorer. Thumbs up to the champion of the UTMA for this level, 2026. Well, highest scorer to 16-year-old Daniela Owoye that made headlines. Quarter says another judge orders arrest of ex-minister Salim Aman. Arrest of ex-minister Salim Aman. For what reason? Well, you go dig into the story on the Daily Trust. 500, this is alarming. 500 naira pepper and tomatoes disappear from markets as prices skyrocket. I think this is a very, very troubling trend, troubling story. Because if we have this as a challenge, then it's going to fall on us in terms of what we buy in the restaurant or hotels. How do we tackle this?
Well, indeed, it's a big question. But if we go back to the Daily Sun newspaper, the last headline I actually read out was Hope Uzodinma saying the federal government reform reasons economy thriving despite the U.S.-Iran war. I feel like it's conflicting reports with us now saying that 500 naira pepper, and it's really not even big, or tomatoes is now disappearing, or has finally disappeared from the market. It says a lot about the economy, about the ripple effect we're we're having after the removal of the fuel subsidy, because it's really is a chain.
It's a chain.
If the prices of fuel goes up, every other thing goes up in Nigeria, and then you wonder why. And then there's this usual saying in Nigeria that what goes up doesn't come down, even though the law of gravity says what goes up will definitely come down, but it's a different ballgame here in the country.
It's a different ballgame in the
really
country.
sad.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at it basically that it could get to a point where we wouldn't even get pepper for 500 naira anymore, because I was opportune some weeks back, and when I got to the market, and
you went to the market?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that is quite shocking.
Surprising. Just for to take some accounts of what's happening.
To
in the
take
market.
account coin.
Do you know that 3 pepper, I don't know what to call it, 3 seed,
Yes, it's
was sold for 500, 3 seed. So which means basically in time to come, we may not even be having that, even for 1,000 naira. Well, where are we going? Things going up and never coming down.
cool volumes.
Where are we going? This is a big question.
Oh,
and of course, do we continue to borrow and then we see prices, of commodities skyrocketing? And that again will now bring questions about what we are using our monies for. Well, it's important that the federal government will prioritize this and see how it can battle it headlong to bring down the prices of commodities.
Absolutely. Well, we'll now move over to another major newspaper up for review this morning, and up next is the Nation newspaper. Leading with politics, says Atiku attacks NDC over zoning of presidential tickets to South. Subreddit says ex-VP decision taken to favor individual rather than national interest. Okay, well, on page 2 of the Nation, Tinubu in Kenya for France-Africa Economic Cooperation meeting. And funny enough, a viral video actually emanated from that meeting, and we'll have it on TMI socials today. Well, there is plot to destabilize PGF ahead of 2027 elections. What is going on with the Progressive Governors Forum? Well, do well to pick up a copy of the Nation newspaper. Makinde, now our member, says APM BOT chairman on page 3. Ozadima Bagudu to diplomats. Tinubu's policies rebooted economy. No more UTME for College of Education applicants on page 6. Committee, why we disqualified 56 Rivers Assembly aspirants on page 4. And finally, on the Nation this morning, it says Adeleke, the throne Oshu monarch, jailed for COVID-19 fraud in the U.S. on page 3. Oh, wow. I thought the monarch, it's actually a reserve seat, right? Why are we having this funny report this morning?
Well, it is quite challenging because we are already in the civic public, so the primordial will go under the civic public. What do you expect? The government will basically look into how it can tackle these issues headlong. But away from there, let's look at the Punch newspaper. And we've been on the trail of the loans being picked by the federal government. It says federal government, World Bank in talks over second largest $1.25 billion loan. And that's a big one there. And of course, 322 NNPC, NURPC remit 322 billion naira, 816.9 million naira after Tinubu order. You get that on page 37. And coup plotters reached out for spiritual cover. And this is coming from Cleric. And ISIS moves operations to West Africa. U.S. wants a lot there. Then this very big story about campaigns, who's going to get what, when, and how. You see that, well, it's all towards the 2027 elections. And again, at the top of the cover page, we just at the side of it, we see this on 2027 presidency. Atiku's Northern ticket campaign faces resistance. Well, this says Tinubu governors eulogize Fasorati at 100. That's quite huge. At page 12, you get that. Adeleke deposes Osun monarch after U.S. conviction. Well, I think that ends it on the Punch newspaper. But I'm afraid there's much you can take on the pages of the newspaper. Do well to get the stories or get the papers by visiting the nearest vendor close to you, go online and dig in. We'll be taking a short break, then we dive into our first interview with Professor Cyril Otoikian of the Northern University, a researcher and lecturer, of course, looking into the hantavirus outbreak and how to tackle it headlong is what we're about to stay.
ITV, certainly the best.
To have you join me, Edo in governance, our perspective of Edo governance, and of course diaspora participation and policy innovation is what we're looking at this time. And of course we look at the challenges facing governance and how to make sure that governance is responsive enough to hitting the KPIs or the viable objectives that it has set in order to actualize its goals. Of course, the China agenda under the governor of Edo State, Senator Mondo Okpebholo, will be highlighted in this very topic as we look at Edo governance in perspective, diaspora participation and policy innovation. Joining me via Zoom to look into this. Why, after this, we could be having an opportunity to speak with a professor that I did make mention of earlier on the hantavirus outbreak. Before that, we're looking at this topic where we have the ambassador, Ambassador John Osagie, SSA to Edo State Government on Diaspora Affairs. Join me via Zoom. Good morning, Don Osagie. Good morning to you, John.
Good morning, ITV. Good morning. I'm very, very happy to be with you this morning. Thank you so much.
Say to the government of Edo State, John Osagie, Ambassador John Osagie, I beg your pardon. Well, we're looking at what has been happening, but we will be looking into your office and what respite is in that direction. But quickly, before we ask you the first question, let's look at the possibility of having another guest joining us via Zoom, the Edo State Publicity Secretary of ADC, Christopher Ojekere. Good morning, Chris. Well, let's assess what has been happening so far. The shine agenda of the governor of Edo State, Senator Mando Kwebolo. What could you see concerning the diaspora participation and policy innovation? Do you see the state government as creating an opportunity for diaspora participation in making sure that the projects or the policies that is embarking upon sees through the light of the day? Ambassador John.
Yeah, thank you so much for your question. And thank you so much for having me on your program this morning. Once again, my name is John Osagie, and I am the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Diaspora Matter. Under the SHINE agenda, the Governor of Edo State has been able to create sustainable growth in the diaspora. This is the first time ever the State Governor in Edo has appointed an office for his Senior Special Assistant. And this is the first time ever we are having a diaspora agency in Edo State. The Governor of Edo State is very passionate about bringing all Edo people around the world along. This is an inclusive government to attract global visibility, global economic growth, investments, and youth engagement. So under the SHINE agenda, the Governor of Edo State is doing a wonderful job, and we are very, very happy to support him. We are very, very happy to be working with him. Edo State is taking a new shape, both at home and in diaspora. Thank you so much.
Well, the office you occupy is a very, very delicate office as the Senior Special Assistant to the Edo State Government on Diaspora Affairs, Ambassador John Osagie. Now, let's look into that office. What do you see as your objectives that you are carrying out to help the government of the day, close this gap about the diaspora participation? Because if you ask the question, there are a lot of gap that needs to be closed, and we don't know how far that has been done under your office.
Yeah, so far, one of the gaps we speak about is about diaspora investment and innovation platform, which we have also created. If you look around, more than 50% of the development in Edo State is channeled by the Edos in diaspora. So Edos in diaspora are a major stakeholder in Edo State, and we have been able to create an investment platform, innovation platform, where Edos in diaspora are constantly getting engaged in different meetings and creating ideas. As I speak to you this morning, I was already in a meeting this morning with the Commissioner of Environment, with the Edos in diaspora. All right. So we also have a platform for knowledge and skill transfer. All right. A lot of our youth in Edo State have the potential to compete with any idea in the world. So we have created a platform where we can harness the opportunity we have here to international standard. All right. So we are also creating diaspora economy zone in real estate. We want to create a city that is owned by diaspora in Edo State. Part of the challenges the Edos in diaspora are having is that they want to invest, but they don't have a good platform to invest. So we are creating a diaspora city which will bring employment, which will boost investment and AGRO in Edo State, sir. All right. When you talk about global promotion, we are talking about global cultural promotion. For the very first time ever, Edo State will be participating in Berlin Festival. Berlin Carnival happens once every year. This is the biggest cultural festival in the entire Europe. So for the very first time, the Edos will be participating in that very event. All right, we're also doing a lot of partnership worldwide. We are looking for people who are into manufacturing. Just last week, some of my Chinese friends visited those states for feasibility study. We are really looking at China because China is the biggest production in the world. And we believe that China can produce in those states for the Nigeria markets. So we are doing a lot with our diaspora office to move Edo State forward, to position Edo State in a global stage. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's get to you, Christopher Ojekere. There has been this question, really mind-boggling question about if diaspora participation in governance, like we look at in Edo State, can ever survive beyond rhetorics. What do you have to say? Looking at what the SSA to the governor on diaspora affairs also said, do you see points that could also bring about respite in the direction of Edo governance?
All right. Let me say a few things. Number one, it is not the first time that a government is creating a diaspora agency. Actually, in Obasanjo's government, what we had was Ministry of Arts and Culture, Tourism, and Diaspora Affairs. And Dr. Oyimalaka was involved in that, and I was a part of that. So it's not the first time. Then it's not also the first time Edo is participating in an international carnival, the Vienna Biennale, which is actually the biggest art festival and display and exhibition in the world. Obaseki was nominated, that is, Edo State was nominated by the national government to lead the national government, which was the first time Nigeria was participating there because of the achievements of Edo arts. Having said that, I am happy that there is a thinking at all headed by the SSA, with respect to diaspora investment. Edo State happens to have the largest number of diasporans abroad. If you check the statistics on diaspora remittances, what is remitted from Edo State alone is more than what is remitted from almost the entire Nigeria put together, at least in the past 4 or 5 years, 3 years. When you check the statistics, you see that we have such huge diaspora remittances. It's a good idea. We're not just going to criticize it. But the question you ask is whether it's going to go beyond rhetorics. You see, it's a huge economy. The diaspora economy is a huge economy. If those programs and projects in which Dion said they are collaborating with the diaspora comes to fruition, then we are going to be the better for it. But what we have found about this government, and by way of advice to Dion, to his principal, is that it's a government of closed doors. I'm just hearing for the first time, for instance, that there is a diaspora connection with even an office of SSA to the governor on diaspora affairs. The previous government that this government took over from did a lot in that direction. And that's what brought in people like Rema. That's what brought in the investment of MOA. That's what brought in, the, inventory we did on all the tourist sites in Edo State, about 150, and that would have been attracting tourists to Nigeria and all of that. And the diaspora was very much involved in that. So we would advise the government to open up its doors and ensure that you link up with people who have knowledge, expertise, and experiences on areas like this, and ensure we develop our diaspora. We are a very poor state. As you can see, Edo State is probably the dirtiest and most filthy headquarters. Benin City is probably the dirtiest and most filthy headquarters right now. And everybody knows that I'm Pan Edo, and I could never speak against my state, but I speak truth. Ring Road is a disaster. It is the worst It has the worst aesthetic city center in the whole of the South capital, and in fact, in other capitals of Nigeria. Now, when you begin to talk about diaspora helping, the diasporans will have to look at your structural economy. If you cannot invest in aesthetics that will promote tourism, for instance, if you go to other parts, New Benin is probably the filthiest, most busy city center in any city, capital city in Nigeria. If you cannot invest in the aesthetics of the environment and create that environment that will make tourism thrive, for instance, because the diaspora don't have much to do. They only participate in economies like tourism, infrastructural investment, technology, and all that. If, for instance, MOA has remained under comatose and has remained a subject of controversy, by now MOA should be earning Edo states a minimum of about 500 million, naira every year, if not, more than that. Now, the government needs to look at all of this because these are the only ways diaspora can participate. They cannot come and work in our civil service, but they participate in all this, what you refer to as marginal economy, which are quite much when they invest in them. But you have to create that environment. The government, for instance, doesn't seem to have any plan apart from building what do you call the flyover. What is the structural plan? If we take it sectorially, what plan do you have, and what are you inviting the diaspora to actually really do? If it is technology, for instance, Obaseki left, I think they call it three-tier data center in the government house, files. But the diasporans you are talking about, they are used to working with automation, with technology and AI. So you see that whereas that you are saying you have a diaspora affair and you want to promote diaspora investment, right back at home, your policies are working antithetically to the understanding and the structure and the systems that diasporas understand. So how are you going to reconcile all of this? These are issues why you see we have doubts, and we think that what's just going on is rhetorics, that the government is not actually serious because it's not inclusive enough, and it's not investing in technology, and it's not investing in infrastructure that actually motivates diaspora and investments at home.
Thank you, Christopher. Well, let's look at this challenge that was raised by you, Christopher, and of course, knowing full well that you were also involved in the past administration of Godwin Ogegase Obaseki when he was governor of Edo State. And of course, if we are to look at what transpired in that time and how to also improve on what we have at present, looking at the participation of the diaspora, you made mention, Christopher Ojekere made mention of Edo State Benin, for instance, being about the dirtiest. And of course, you go to the King Square, you go to the New Benin axis, New Benin Market axis. Sometimes you wonder what is really happening. Are you looking into this direction, or is the government of Edo State looking into the direction of improving on aesthetics and making Edo State, a center of attraction when it comes to tourism? Looking at it in the diaspora participation in Edo governance. Are you looking into this direction, or is the state government looking into this direction under the Shine agenda? Ambassador Dion Osage.
For your question once again. But before I answer your question, I'd like to correct the facts of what my brother just said, that there was a diaspora office and all of that. Having diaspora office doesn't mean that the office was functioning. Personally, with my view, Obaseki did a terrible job bringing Edo people in diaspora along in his government. It took him 8 years. It took Godwin Obaseki 8 years to start meeting Edo people in diaspora for his meet and greet. For me, this is a total failure. Nobody want to invest in a state where they don't have a connection. The governor of Edo State is already making plans to visit all Edo people around the world. Before now, I personally and my leader, Commissioner of Youth and former Deputy Governor, His Excellency Lucky Imaswan, we were already in New York meeting Edo people, sharing ideas on how they can be a part of the governance. So you can have a diaspora commission or a diaspora affair commission, but if that agency is not active, it simply means that the diaspora are not being carried along. So I think that what we are doing right now The diaspora are very, very much engaged, looking at ways we can bring investment to the states. The tourism agency is working. It takes a while to build a village. If what we are doing today, the previous government have started from back then started, I think that we'll be somewhere today. Look at all the roads the governor is constructing. Look at all the infrastructure put in place. Look at the teachers that are getting employment. Look at the Edo State Security Corps. Look at the new buses we just received. Look at the Edo Airline. If Alamin Obaseki that my brother spoke about have done all this, I think that we will be moving to a different phase. So some of the biggest problem we are facing right now in our government is that the previous government totally failed the Edo people. And that is why the governor of Edo State, His Excellency Mode Okpevolo, is working tirelessly to see how we can revive it. We are just 2 years in government, we are just 2 years in government, not 8 years. So the governor of Edo State, are you with me, sir?
I hear you.
Go
ahead, we can hear you.
Yeah, so the governor of Edo State is doing a tremendous job bringing investment to the state. And within a short period of time, we are going to start seeing a significant progress in Edo State when it comes to tourism, when it comes to environment, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to education. We are doing all we can to position Edo State in a global state. So once again, it was the failure of the past administration that got us where we are today. There is no excuse for the ring road, New Benin, Sakoba to be dirty if the governor have put in place recycling plans. There's no recycling plan in Edo State with the previous government, but right now we are working on that already. And within a couple of months, we're going to start seeing a lot of recycling truck moving around the states. All right, so the governor is working, and we need everybody to support him, including our brother, Mr. Christopher. I need you to support the governor. We have an inclusive governance. We don't care where you are, who you support, but this is our state. If you love Edo State, as you claim, this is the right time to get into this kind of agenda. You can do as an individual to support the government. Governance is not just by one person effort to move Edo State forward. So please, Mr. Christopher, I need you to look inward to see what you can do to support the government. If you have a lot of idea in tourism, you have idea in tech, you have idea in environment, bring it to the table. The governor door is very open when you say that we have a closed door government, and that's not true. You go to the government house now to say you want to submit a proposal, the door is widely open for you. Godwin Obaseki had a closed door policy. Nobody could enter the government house. But you go there today, the gates are always open. Nobody question you where you're going, who you're going to go see. It's always a pass. So please, let's support the governor, and thank you so much.
And after this short break, where we'll also be interrogating from what he said, Ambassador John Osaige, what he said as regards, the performance under the governor of Edo State, Senator Mondo Okpebholo. And of course, the meet and greet that he said in the past administration took 8 years. And of course, we'll look into all of that after this short break. Do stay. Thank you. The program is This Morning on ITV, and I am Philip Omo. We are about the aspect of Edo governance in perspective, diaspora participation, and policy innovation. Let's quickly get to you, Christopher Ojekere. You heard what the Ambassador John Osaige, the SSA to the governor of Edo State on diaspora affairs, said. He made mention of the 8-year span that hardly the past governor of Edo State, Nagaso Baseki, in whose government you also served, took about 8 years before he did the meet and greet on diaspora participation in policy and governance. I want you to react to that. And he also made mention of other issues, even as regarding, the issues you talked about concerning the beautification, improving on the aesthetics of Edo State, which he, according to him, if that was started and the recycling was ongoing, then there would have been a legacy that would have been bequeathed by the government, past administration, to the present government. But that seems not to be what, according to him, happened. So what do you have to say in your reaction?
Well, I didn't want this to become an Obaseki affair. When I was talking as a concerned Edo person. It's obvious that the government needs help. The fact that, as he said, they've been here for 2 years and we don't seem to have any direction and the vision. So we have decided to tone down on critical opposition and do help with constructive suggestions. So I only made reference to Godwin Obaseki. But just to quickly dismiss that, if Obaseki believes that you walk before you play, and then spends the first 1 or 2 years visiting almost every investment-driven countries of the world, for which you guys named him MOU governor. And in each of those countries, he was received by the Edo community there and diaspora in his first 2 years. I don't know what you are referring to here. In fact, Obaseki was being criticized for going around the world to try and drive investment. He laid the foundation. But this governor, according to him, seemed to be ready to reverse that. He's not thinking of working yet. He's thinking of going around the world and meeting and greeting and sleeping in big hotels. If the governor wants to travel around the world, he should wait until he's out of office. If the governor goes out, he doesn't have to go out. Do you need diaspora people to come and clean Ring Road and clean New Benin? All you do at home is let the people in diaspora see your seriousness. Then let them see your plan. Hold on, don't interrupt, please. Don't interrupt, please. That's not polite. So all you need to do is set up your plan at home and then begin to show seriousness in dealing with infrastructure, in dealing with aesthetics. Now let's go to security, for instance. Yeah, people have to know that the environment is safe before they come home to invest. The security situation in Edo State now has never been this bad. It's the worst form of security situation in recent years. I mean, only day before yesterday here, I heard that around Uniben there, a young man was just shot, brutally in the day. And you have so many motorcycles you have bought, so many Hiluxes you have bought, presumably for patrol around city centers. People's purses and monies are beginning to get missing again from their pockets in Ring Road. And in fact, most of the people that are even suspected that are perpetrating these things are all hiding under the cover of your boys in Ring Road. You don't need diaspora to come and take care of all of that. If the state is completely unsafe, the diasporas have brothers and sisters who are being robbed every day, killed every day. They tell them, those things send shock waves to them. So the governor going there on parole, going from state to state, trying to get to know the world using this opportunity, does not solve the problem. Obaseki was giving us plans. I just spoke about MOA. Go and read about the master plan of MOA and then do all your computations and know how much MOA will be fetching. I spoke about automating the system where you are now using technology, both in the schools, in the civil service. I spoke about, or I haven't spoken about that, but I will speak about Stella Obasanjo Hospital, where we had first-class medical facilities to take care of tourists who would come. And that's why he built Radisson Hotel to host international visitors. All these things are under your criticisms. So that's why I say you are contradicting yourself if you say you are interested in diaspora. Diaspora are coming from an organized society. And that's what he was doing. I don't want to make this about Obaseki. So show us your plan and start with the low-hanging fruits at home. Get the city clean, get security to be in place, return back to technology, open your doors for inclusive experience, knowledge, and understanding, and then the news will go out that you have set for investors. So don't get so worked up about Obaseki. We are ready to help Okpewolo. We realize that he's overwhelmed. You keep talking about roles he's doing, this one he's doing. You're not giving us plan because your so-called shine agenda was an afterthought. It was not an original plan from the beginning. And we are still just going on like that. You are just telling us things we cannot track. How does going up and down the world, meeting with Edo people, staying in the best hotel translates to investment? If the person you are talking to, as you are talking to him or finishing talking to him, his brother calls him and say, they've just kidnapped two young men in Oluku, or some University of Ekoma boys that just graduated, they've just kidnapped the two of them, or they've just shot somebody around Unibe. How does it translate to Britain? Do you think people live on by rhetoric these days where you go there, you say, we are doing well at home and so on and so forth? They go with evidence. So the governor should sit down at home. You used to call him homeboy. I don't know why he now wants to go and be diaspora boy. There are governors should evolve. Governance is a cultural evolvement. I believe in evolutionary government. You should sit down and evolve from home. Get things that you can do those things. Why are those boys in Ring Road? Have you been there? They will be wearing black. They are looking fierce. They smoke all sorts of things. If you go to Ring Road at 7 o'clock now, it's unsafe for everybody. New Benin is dirty. If you go there right now as I speak, it's totally dirty. Don't dodge that. Then security, what do you do about that? So I wanted you to look at them sectorally like that. Leave Obaseki, he's gone.
Christopher Ojekere, well, you said that and you picked it out of my mind. Actually, I was looking into that direction, even though the office of the SSA to the governor on diaspora affairs is not in charge of that, stricto sensu of security. But what transpired in Edo State, in Benin, of course, in front of main gate, University of Benin main gate access, is also a very huge experience that we can't really, sweep under the carpet. And even the state government has said that, the governor said that is going to tackle this headlong in order to tackle the aspect of courtesim and, of course, violence. But let's get to you, Ambassador Dion. He said a lot. Christopher Ojekere said something in that direction about security. I don't know if you have anything to say in that direction. And also, he made mention of the MOA project, which would have been earning about nothing less than 500 million naira to the Edo State government. Is the government under, Senator Mondo Okpewolo looking in this direction of beefing up security, like what he said, even like what transpired at the University of Benin main gate access, how to make sure that, there's intelligence gathering, and of course, the aspect of raising revenue, looking at the MOA project, which he mentioned. What do you have to say?
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Christopher, for your feedback. First of all, personally, that someone as smart as Christopher worked with the previous admin. If you must know, this is the first year. Last year was the first time those in diaspora came home and felt very, very secure. The issue of courtesim in Edo State every December, killing one another, is absolutely gone. In the last few months, there has been no issue of shoot aside, except the one that just happened in Unibet. Crime happened everywhere in the world, including some of the safest country. All right. So security matter, the governor is 100% on it. Like I said, we have to always make a reference. If Obaseki did half of what the governor is doing today, security will improve. Mr. Christopher said that he was part of the government, the environment is clean. What impact did Governor Obaseki made in Edo environment? This is a true story. One year I was in Benin City about 4 or 5 years ago. The city center was a mess. It was on a Christmas Eve. I sent Governor Obaseki a message that, look, this place is too dirty for Christmas. And guess what? He replied with a number to call the waste management and all that. So environmental issue has been an issue that has been long coming. There has been no single trash can in Ring Road until this administration. If you go around Ring Road City Center right now, you see that in every corner, we now have where you can put your trash. So these are ways of improving the state. You spoke about MOA. MOA, we already know that it was a total scam. Godwin Obaseki put all his people there to scam Edo people. All the records are there. You spoke about Radisson. Radisson, how many percent of Radisson belong to Edo people? So this was an organized crime by Obaseki and his team to loot Edo State, and currently we are still searching for him. We want him to come home to answer some of these allegations. This is the first time a governor left office even before his tenure was over. So the governor of Edo State, His Excellency Mode Okpebholo, is doing everything possible to transform all the areas where the past administration has failed. Now I'm talking about the governor going to diaspora to meet people to sleep in hotel. No, going to diaspora, the governor doesn't have to be there. That is why we are here. That is why he has an SSA on diaspora matters. Every day we conduct meetings with Edos in diaspora to see ways they can contribute to Edo State. We cannot shy away from the fact that diaspora investment is one of the largest form of investment in Edo State. 80% of the businesses in Edo State today is being set up by the Edos in diaspora. So it's very, very important for the governor to meet with them. It is very, very important for the governor to see ways he can encourage them to do more. And part of doing that is not by sitting at home, speaking big English like Obaseki was doing, speaking big English. It's about connecting with the people. If I want to do a business with you, if I want you to come invest in my state, and I'm talking to you from a different country, the connection cannot be there. But if I meet you one-on-one, of course, a lot of people will key into investing in Edo State. So I strongly disagree that going to diaspora is not the way forward. It actually is the way forward. If Godwin Obaseki took time to do the meet and greet that he was doing last year, trust me, a lot more people would have supported him. But the game is already over. Now you are going to diaspora to start complaining. We don't want that for our governor. We want a governor that is inclusive. We want a governor that will say, Edo people, I'm here. I want to hear your pain. Town hall meetings. When was the last time Godwin Obaseki did a town hall meeting locally in Edo State to say, you know what, I am going to Agenobodo. Let's see what's going on there. These are things we are constantly doing in this government. So like I said before, the governor of Edo State is doing his best. I would like everybody to support him, including Christopher, who claimed he has a very, very brilliant idea to move Edo State forward. If you have a proposal that you want to submit to make Edo State better, I will be glad to push that proposal for you. I see that you are very passionate about environment. You are passionate about tourism. So bring it on. Create a platform, create a structure. It is not about party anymore. It's about seeing what we can do for the next generation, seeing what we can do so that when the next administration comes, they can have a platform to start from. Godwin Obaseki left the governor of Edo State today, zero platform in insecurity, zero platform in environment, zero platform in tourism. For a very long time, there was no tourism agency. The Commissioner of Arts and Culture, Edo State Culture is the best culture around the world. For many years, we had no Commissioner of Arts and Culture. The records are there. Mr. Osemike Ero, after the issue happened in Europe, for more than 3 years, there was no Commissioner of Art and Culture, and Art and Culture is the only thing we have to showcase in Edo State as tourism. So where is the foundation? So we are working tirelessly with the excellent governor of Edo State to change all this narrative, and we are so proud that the governor is a governor that respects the palace. The governor is a governor that is always listening to the voice of the people, the voice of the palace. Look at what Obaseki did. Disrespected the palace, did all kinds of things he wanted to do with his cohorts, but His Excellency Mode Okpebholo is changing that. We are moving Edo to the global stage, and in the next few months or year, you will see the transformation. And thank you so much for your question. Thank you.
So John Saido, you still have the floor. You may mention on the fact that you are searching, the state government, I believe you said, is searching, looking for the former governor of Edo State. for some questioning. I don't know if there's a security team that has been set out to get him into the country to answer that. But again, you also made mention of a lot in terms of the China agenda, but I don't know if there are key performance indicators to measure the improvement that the China agenda under the governor, Senator Mondo Okpebholo's administration has brought to bear? Or is it still on the planning stage? What are the KPIs we can use to measure that?
Needs a foundation. We are planning a lot in those states. But for example, we have one of the biggest hospitals coming to Era. One of the biggest hospitals in Nigeria is coming to Era. We are currently building a new market in the add-on project of Godwin Obaseki, the Oba Market, a city mall, a city market that got on fire for many years. We failed to renovate it. That is almost done. All right. We inaugurated Edo line that was abandoned with so many buses. A lot of drivers are working there, operating right now. Edo line, it took us less than 6 months to bring that to life. A MOU governor who could not revive a common transportation system. The governor, they say they don't speak English, has been the one that woke up. We have Edo line coming up. Edo line is coming up as we speak to you right now. All right. So many of these projects, the Stella Passenger Hospital you spoke about was an unfinished project that was commissioned. We are still working there. So many development is coming to Edo State, and I want you as a journalist to take one day, and we will be glad to take you on a tour so that you can see some of the things the governor is doing.
Ambassador John, well, let's get to you, Christopher Jekere. Although this is not a podium for us to, talk about arguments in this direction, but we are about how to make Edo State better for it. And of course, the China agenda is quite a very massive acronym through which the governor of the state can really bring that to bear. Now, you may mention of the fact that there's nothing to point out outside the flyover project by the Senator Mondo Okpebholo's led administration. You just heard what Ambassador John Osage said. There are various areas and projects that the governor has embarked upon. And of course, the very, very interesting and intriguing one is the transport line, Edo Transport Service, that was revived. In the time of the past governor, Nogase Obaseki, it was not so. But don't you see this as what could be seen as a lauded project carried out by the current governor of Edo State, Senator Mondo Okpebholo?
Well, apart from it being the target of kidnappers, because I don't know if there's the target of kidnappers like a Edo line, the idea of having a transportation line is a policy option. If the governor that left does not believe that government should run public service like transportation, which has never worked, and then believes that that should be left to the private sector for development, all he needs to do is to create an enabling environment for the private sector. But if this government believes that government should run a transportation line and then succeeds with it, it is after he has succeeded with it that we say, oh, that policy option was a wise one. He has just started, as he has said, and all the buses are new. Let us wait whether if the new one begin to show wears and tears, whether they will be replaced, whether the agency would have been able to generate enough money for us to use that money to buy new buses, and whether the mechanics there would not have stolen all the parts. That's what has closed it down before. So a government is a policy option. The government may choose to say, okay, because of the fact that you have a problem with personnel, that is that people steal from government should divest itself of businesses and involve itself only in social services and involve itself only in governance, like they run it in Western nations. So it's a policy option, but you don't begin to praise a policy until it has delivered the results. So we have to see the lifespan. The deadline is just like less than a year, I think. And let's wait until the end of the administration, whether it's sustainable and whether you are able to generate enough funds from there to sustain that project before we begin to say it's done well. So for now, I just see it as his own policy option. He thinks it's a good policy option. We as analysts will just watch and wait to see it.
Also spoke about, don't you see it as another project that can be seen as laudable?
Which one?
You may mention all the fact that outside the flyover project, you may not have anything to showcase. But do you see the flyover project as what could be commendable on the administration of Senator Mondo Kwewulu as the governor of Edo State?
When you talk about commendability, you ask, what does the project serve? What purpose does it serve? And why that policy option? Is it cheaper? That's how government reason. Is it a cheap? Was there a cheaper option, and then the governor choose to take this very expensive option, which, if you look at the end product and the output, does not actually serve the money spent on it. For instance, we do not even know who is doing that flyover and how much was budgeted for it. But I have my privileged information that is probably one of the costliest flyover of its size anywhere in the world. Now, having said that, the flyover begins from immediately you get to Ramat Park if you are coming from Agbo end and Auchi end, and stops after the market. Right there. In fact, even before you finish the market, the flyover has stepped down. So I've been asking myself, with all the huge sums that I know was budgeted for this project, what exactly has it served? Because all you needed to do around that place was find a way to shrink the so-called Rama Park and expand the road, which is exactly what the flyover has done, instead of taking space in the air. So, whereas that you can point to aesthetics and okay, it serves aesthetic purpose in the sense that, okay, there are people from Ubojobu village, people from Ukodwa, who may never have traveled outside the door. They've never seen a flyover in their life. So they can say, okay, this is a flyover here, it's very beautiful. When you are entering Benin from that end, you say, okay, this is beautiful here. But when you think of utility value and the economic value, the flyover is almost like a white elephant project. I don't want to be seen to be too critical of it. But if I was going to be in the room, I have other policy options that would have cleared traffic from around Ramat Park without having to build such expensive flyover and waste such humongous sum just to achieve taking a road through the sky around the same market and stepping it down. When they said flyover those days, I thought it was going to land somewhere around Takwamba, that you were going to go through the river and land the Sakwamba so that you can divert traffic from people, for people who are coming from that axis. They don't have to come through Akwapaba to Ring Road or to go to Sakwamba. I thought that was the purpose. But when I saw that it climbed up and came down in the same spot, I was just wondering, this is just a whole mass of cement for nothing. So Benin is a highly interconnected city. There are by roads everywhere that can make you divert traffic when you have traffic congestion. You don't have to put such a huge white elephant project there. But as I said, if you look at it from the area of aesthetics, you can say, okay, it's beautiful. It will create an aesthetic value there. But at what cost? The cost is too expensive.
Thank you, Christopher. Back to you, Ambassador John. Let's look at briefly the constraints or challenges you may see in closing the gap, that has been existent over the participation of the diaspora in governance of Edo State.
All right, thank you so much. But before I go back on the flyover issue, Mr. Christopher must be aware that flyover is needed in every modern city, all right? Flyover helps promote tourism, businesses, infrastructures, real estate. If you look at, because of that flyover now, if you look at that axis, a lot of estate developers are moving on to those areas. That will eventually modernize the city, create jobs for the people, and develop the area. So having a flyover is a concept to develop community. I lived in Texas for many years. In my city alone, there are more than 30 flyovers. Even as developed as Texas is, they are still building flyover. So flyover is a concept that will eventually develop the community. So speaking about gap in this administration, I don't see any gap. I think that the governor is doing a very, very good job bridging the gap, bringing in young people with great ideas to work with him. So I think that the governor of Edo State, by the next 2-3 years, is going to be rated one of the best governors Nigeria ever had. Because what the guy is doing, not the fact that I'm working with him, what the guy is doing is not done anywhere. Look at Mechanic Road in Ego local government. I'm from Ego, Ward 5. Look at the Mechanic Road that was abandoned for so many years. From Siloko Road now, you cannot access Ubuyoko. The road is ongoing. Look at Esalan, look at Esako, look at all these areas the governor is working. Anybody not supporting the governor of Edo State has a very, very wicked mind and not ready for development. Because this is the first time Edo State has turned into a construction site. Look at the 54 trucks that the governor bought. Instead of us renting trucks every time to fix our road, the governor have bought 54 trucks and distributed it to different local governments. Look at the new buses. We have about 50 buses that just came in last week. Young people who are students will be able to take free bus ride. These are great developments. So I don't see any gap or any challenges in this government. I think that everybody working with the governor is doing an amazing job. And on behalf of the governor, I salute them. Thank you very much.
Let's quickly get to you, Christopher Ojekere. What do you see as what should be done in the area of closing the gap that you may see on participation of the diaspora in Edo governance?
Well, sustainability is important to any government. I think Odion has spoken about the optics, commissioning this, commissioning that. But we need to see results. The truck he spoke about, for instance, how is it going to be sustained by the local government area when local government are not paying salaries? What investments are in the local government area to maintain those trucks? Or is the government going to be using state government money to fuel them, to maintain them when they are broken down? You see, so you can just rush into a lot of investments and policy choices which are not sustainable. It is whether they are sustainable, because the government is in a hurry. The governor is in a hurry to prove himself. What Dion didn't say is that he's getting 4 times the money that Obaseki was getting, for instance, from the federal government. And if he doesn't have plan and doesn't know how to invest and then put sustainability quotient, he's just going to pour money, buy cars, buy this. For instance, I just spoke about the bikes. We hear 600 motorbikes have been bought to teleguide Benin City. And yet there is crime everywhere. I don't see those motorbikes on the road. That's why I told Afegba that they are audio projects. I mean, if from the Texas where he said he lived, the policemen are visible at every road junction, and crime rate is checked within the city. So it is not just going to buy those things so that you can show them on TV, and then by the time you are leaving, party leaders and party members will own one trucks each. We are talking about putting them to functionality and then giving us the sustainability quotient of how these things are going to survive beyond a short time. So that's how to check the gaps that we see here. If he puts in sustainability quotient and we see those things functioning, then he has closed a lot of gaps.
Security is still begging for question, most especially as regards how to tackle it headlong. We can't but look into what transpired in main gate Unimen axis, and again that is also raising questions. Now over to you, Ambassador Dion. Let's have an experience of what you see as going forward that the state government could be embarking on in order to tackle this aspect of insecurity. I remember you had the floor to speak on that, but can you please extend your knowledge on this, because we want to see much robust, technological advancement that we see in the developed polities, being domiciled in Edo State, or do we really need a local solution to it, or should we seek, models that could be seen as studied abroad that can be used to improve on security in Edo State?
All right, thank you so much. In the issue of insecurity, like I said before, it was the foundation of what we met that has got us this far. If security was handled by the last administration, I don't think we'll be talking about security today. My brother also mentioned about security bags and all that. Security bags are all in the bushes. They are working tirelessly every night in those bushes where we have the kidnappers and all that. If you look around now for the past few months, you can see that the rate of kidnapping have dropped. All right. So in terms of security, I personally think that one of the fastest way to solve insecurity in any nation right now is through technology. We now have drones. We now have drones that can fly from a Edo State government house all the way to Eastern land. We now have drones that can fly for 6-7 hours. I think that the governor is working on creating a situation room whereby we can monitor our bushes from a specific location. So there are young people who are experts in flying drones. We can fly drones to check our areas, okay? And we also have to look at improving on our CCTV monitoring. These are our developed country are solving insecurity. So we're going to work on CCTV installation. We're going to work on having high technology drones to make security better in those states. If you must know, one of the engineers that make drones for the U.S. Army, his name is Dr. Osato Osemige. He's a drone expert. I'm already in conversation with him to see how he can partner with the Edo State governor to see how we can get a lot of security drones to Edo State. I also had a meeting with the commissioner of police. The governor has provided them a drone, but I don't think that's enough. I think we can really do much more by acquiring more drones to look into the issue of insecurity. I think that's the best solution. We have a drone flying around the bush, we have the coordinates, and we capture. So I think implementing security drones and CCTVs can really make a difference, because most time when the person knows that there's a CCTV in a specific location, there's more than 80% chance that there will be no crime in that area, because they will automatically scared that maybe they are being captured and things like that. And this is how it works in the Western world. People are very cautious when there is a CCTV in that area. So the governor is working on improving in that. We are going to get some security drones and CCTV installed in high crime area. So thank you so much for your question.
Federal State on Diaspora Affairs. While we still have you, let's quickly look into the direction of challenges we've been facing in terms of political defections. And of course, the 2027 political calculations are already here. And we look into the issues about cross-carpeting from one party to another and all that it has come with, the challenges it has come with. And some will say, well, is this for the benefit of the people or for just personal aggrandizement? Well, let's get you start this discourse, even though I know you may have a reaction on what Ambassador Dion Osage said. But let's get you have this discourse, which will be taken after this short break. Do stay. In a quick one, I need your comments in a minute, Christopher Ojekere, on the 2027 political calculations and the defections. Where do you see this heading to for the opposition? Well, big thanks, Christopher Ojekere, for taking our time to be part of this. We apologize for the loss of audio in that. And of course, big thanks to Ambassador Dion Osage, as I said, to the Governor of Edo State on Diaspora Affairs. Thank you for obliging us on this invite, and we wish you a beautiful day ahead. Well, this is where we call it up. And we're going to be taking a short break, after which we will be joining Abuja for the conversation from this end. Do stay.
still this morning on ITV, bringing us to the Abuja Network Studio, where of course we'll take a look at the outcome of the NDC's convention that actually zoned the presidential ticket to the South and what that implies to other political parties. Of course, I have with me on set the former National ADC youth leader, Barrister Maurice Eba. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, Abuja. Good morning, Nigeria.
Yeah. So, the tsunami that hit.
Okay.
I mean, so many are still, discussing in their own corner. So, what happened?
What really happened? Well, last week, in fact, I made a post yesterday that, in fact, if you see any ADC member, a genuine ADC member, you should give up. Last week, but emotionally was an easy one for us. But we thank God. We thank God. In fact, before we started, I was telling you how ADC has always had the history of having been the part of the coalition in 2017, adopted by the rest of civil societies, and in Abeokuta, and the speech was read by the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo. And then in 2021, the Nigerian Youth Home and Diaspora adopted ADC in an online polls. ADC emerged winner, and ADC was adopted as part of the youth in 2021. And then 2025, 2026, we saw ADC again being adopted as the party of the coalition. It shows you that ADC has always had this history of being used because it's a credible alternative. The former national chairman, our founder, Chief Raboke, also has always been interested, always saying this is, I want ADC to go to the villa. I want ADC to go to the villa. In fact, in those days, we felt that, ADC, small party, like, how are we going to get to the villa? But I can tell you that ADC now has become, no matter what anybody says, ADC has become that brand because I was national leader of ADC. It was also hard to sell ADC. Now everybody knows ADC. In fact, I am betted on my show will not be complete without independent TV. I remember when I back there national leader of ADC, independent television, yes, ITV Abuja. I remember when I was national leader to have frequent interviews here. And then it was everybody on the street knows ADC, the party of the handshake.
Now that matter. NDC, which of course housed all the members of the EDC, had their convention on the weekend and zoned the presidential ticket to the South, which is a huge variation from what the ADC has, because even as we speak, the ADC has no zoning, in any of their committees. There's no plan for zoning. Don't open for everyone. But the end has either up going south. So what do you think that stands for?
So of in fact, some days ago I posted something on my WhatsApp and now than one state Barrister Maurice done to what of from 1960. We are talking about the full republic now. Let's keep away the zoning now. Let's talk about the ADC. All of a sudden NDC is now like the main thing or the new kid on the block. And if you look at NDC, everybody that is NDC was in ADC. So there's nothing like this. In fact, I have my own lieutenant. I have my own lieutenant that say I'm leader. I'm going to NDC. In fact, for state I have the youth leader in Kogi State. They have their state publicity secretary. All of them from one of my top men in from. So it's something that I should worry myself about. Is they say in times of adversity, you know the real genuine ones. They say a smooth sailor never made a great sailor. So it's just part of these things. I am not bothered. I am not perturbed.
But we are talking about the chances of
ADC
getting to power in 2027. If you have hanging on, and then you have NDC. Now you say, well, we are going to the south because of the
seemingly gentleman agreement.
Unwritten agreement. It has to be shared equally. We have had the North from 2015 to 2023. And that was why the likes of Erufai, when they were in APC, said, no, let's move up there. I mean, it's gentlemanly. You understand? Then let them have their share, and then they come back. Because it's one of the reasons that Goodluck Jonathan lost the election in 2015. Because they believe that he completed the term of late President Musa Yar'Adua, and then promised to run for just one term. Even the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, campaigned for him. When they went to the north and said, look, give him this chance, he's going to do one term. But after the one term, he was already
wanting for more.
You know? So, it's about gentleman agreement. It has gone to the south. What is the implication for other
political parties, opposition political parties?
Because you know that in 2023, the result of the votes of the opposition together is more than the result of the winner of that election, President Bola Tinubu. Because we put all the votes together, they are amounting to over 14 million compared to the 8 million that made the president win. So if all those fragmentations come together, adopt one candidate and one party as we speak, how do you think the outcome will?
In fact, I think Nigeria should give kudos to Chief Rabu Kinwosu, the former national chairman of ADC, because for the first time in history, we saw all the major opposition leaders under one platform. It's not easy. When you have so many interests like that, it's not easy. But let me be sincere with you, since we're already having this fraternal talk. Do you think NDC has a chance for presidency compared to the ADC? Let me show. In fact, the NDC is more like a Bielsa party, or it's a Bielsa, a South party. But the ADC, let me tell you the truth, in 2027, I am not speaking for my party. I am speaking for myself. I see more reasons why I should align with the North than the South. I'm from the southern part of Nigeria. I am from Cross River State. I did my law school. I did my school in University of Nigeria. In the East, I did my law school in Kano. I served in Sokoto. So I have seen one Nigeria. But let's look at the sincerity. Who do you think can power this? Realistic. See, the South will be divided. In fact, the South is already divided already. We have Peter Obi and Tinubu. In fact, you know, first of all, the very, very normal, the South is very from the Southeast, from the Southwest. We will divide that one. Imagine if the North could come together. And with the North, they are coming. In fact, ADC, in fact, the Northerners have actually embraced ADC as their own. In fact, everywhere.
So it's a northern party.
It's not a northern party. I know, I want to say it's a northern party.
It's not like the way you say the NDC is a Bielsa party.
No.
Same thing when APC.
I want to speak for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. In 2027, whoever my party gives the presidential ticket to, I'm actually going to support this thing. But I'm fanning.
But the whoever.
Whoever.
No, whoever.
Whoever. Underline the word. I'm a party man.
Yes,
Party is supreme.
No, underline that word.
Whoever and however.
No, just
wherever.
Whoever.
Underlining the word.
Whoever the party gives it to is the problem why we have seen so many parties disintegrate.
Okay.
It's the problem of the PDP. You know why? Because in 2023, Wike said no. Buhari is just ending it.
So do you think Wike was speaking for the interest of the South? No, you see, let's not mistake personal interest for the interest of a region.
No, just hold on. I am on this because you said whoever.
Yes.
Whoever, it means...
I'm a party man, I can say whoever.
No, yeah, you can say it, but looking at the greater good stand, it means if they're not careful, a particular region can continue to hold on to power.
Let me say something.
No,
please let me say something.
Hold on. A particular power, a particular region to hold on to majority. You understand? Gentlemen, you understand?
Please let me share something with you. Tell me you have said this thing. Let me speak for the public. 1999. Since 1999, all the gentleman agreement that we have, where has it taken the country to? All the different states, in fact, from Kogi State, Silver State, to Benue State, all the gentleman agreement that say, let's take it to this side, has it really brought development to this state? We are to see. Our biggest problem in Nigeria, we are not patriotic enough. We are all looking at tribe, religion, everything. We don't need that right now. Okay, 2023 election, I'm very, very happy though. I'm very, very happy. Sorry, sir.
As far as this country is concerned, we need it.
No, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I think I should say something. 2023, we say something. In the time of the South, Tinubu changed Lagos. Tinubu Lagos. Are we not here? Don't be video for this place. So let us keep sentiments aside.
There's no sentiment.
It's a sentiment because it is blowing us. Okay, why didn't they pick Osubanjo over Tinubu? Since we say we are going to the South, let us pick competencies over sentiments. Why didn't they pick Osubanjo over Tinubu?
Let me tell you why the country should not operate. Why I think the country should not operate.
Your personal opinion.
Why I think the country should not operate on whosoever. Do you understand? Because when you have a CNC, the CNC has the right, it has the power to hire and fire. He can hire anybody that he so wishes. The Constitution empowered him to do so. And when, for example, the former president was in power, Harry, if you look at the list of the service chiefs, people were complaining that it is loaded by
but this is what under. Oh, come on.
I'm heading somewhere.
I know where you're heading to.
Just hold on. Yeah, I just want us to be objective. That's why I'm appealing that you should hold on. Nigerians were complaining that the list of service chiefs was loaded by those that are from the north. And when it comes to the ministerial appointment, there was also complaint that the juicy ministries and positions is also loaded by those from his axis.
Please, can I respond?
Now you have President Bola Tinubu.
I have done worse.
You have President Bola
Sorry
Tinubu.
to, I have friends that Yorubas, so a lot of others. I have friends that Yorubas, but it's worse now.
Can you just hold on? I'm not taking a research whether it is worse.
No, come on. I think you are being economical with the truth
I'm
here.
looking at what the example I used earlier. I used it on the APC President Bola Tinubu. To an extent, is tilted towards his people. Key ministries also tilted towards his people. So which makes it even, so to speak. So if you say power should just be with a particular region, you are not patriotic.
That is I will not be there.
Like it or not, the tendency will be there for the CEC to bring those that are
please.
Men.
Let's not be economical with the truth. Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have seen the highest form of nepotism in the country. Let's not. In fact, it's like he went and brought all the Lagos boys. In fact, Lagos are relocated to Abuja. Let us copy that one right now. No offense to my friends from that are from the western part of Nigeria. No offense to them. But now let's also look at reality now. When you talk about South, presidents go to the South, presidents go to the South. Let's be realistic now. What happens to the Southeast? What happens to the Southwest? What happens to the South?
When you say South and when you say North, you are talking about Northeast, South, and Southeast. That's South.
When
you say North, you're talking about Northwest, Northeast, and Northwest.
So I'm actually trying to build a preamble because we have said presidents should go to the south, and you make it look as if it's the whole parts of the southern part of Nigeria that are enjoying from these things. It is not true. I'm from Kochi. In fact, I'm a Nigerian man. I'm from Kochi River State. I know you may not have heard about my tribe before, but we are not even benefiting anything. So when you're saying south, it is sentimental. It is myopic because you are making it. It's a fallacious statistic general. That's when you say about South, as if it's everybody in the South. There is those states enjoying from here. Let me look for another state from the Are they enjoying from this thing? Let us keep sentiments aside. I am not speaking for my party. I'm speaking on my own capacity, also as a stakeholder right now.
Who's your preferred candidate?
Whoever the party picks.
So who is your?
You cannot put me on the spot, sir. Whoever I'm a party man.
Because you are in the ADC.
Whoever my party picks is my candidate.
You are in the ADC, and as we know, it appears that Atiku may claim the ticket.
Okay, what if Atiku gets claim the ticket? What is wrong with that? I am not saying I'm not sure. What if the person I'm even supporting is not even my party?
Will you be okay with him?
What is wrong with?
No.
See, let me answer. Okay, with you. I hear you. Because if we don't do what we have to do right now, God forbid that Nigeria should.
What do we have to do right now?
That we must wrestle power from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. God forbid sorry, sir. God forbid that Nigeria should be like Lagos. That one man's family controls everything. In fact, Sheyi Tinubu is now our de facto vice president. The first family has become Lord Almighty. God forbid that Nigeria should be a mini Lagos state. God forbid. See, if it means us wrestling power from, no problem. If it means me going to go and align with the North, no, I'm from the South. But if it means me aligning with the North together, no problem. Because one man cannot be too powerful.
So what is your calculation?
My calculation is that we divide the South and unite the North. You want to hear it, Abi? I've said it. Divide the South, align the North. Power should come back to the people. The people should have the power, not Bola Ahmed Tinubu waking up. If he wakes up from the right side of the bed, he makes the decision. He wakes up from the left. Let's say at the end of the day, since you want to hear from me, I hear it.
Okay, so
I am not speaking for my party.
Okay, so that calculation, you know, Obi has a balance sheet of 7 million votes.
Online voters.
No, as the last president. Atiku, okay, let's say some votes, then Atiku 6 million votes balance sheet. Then you have Tinubu 8 million votes.
Rigged election in a rigged election. What would be without Wiki? What would Tinubu be without Wiki?
Let's never seen a politician that no. But
the way we make Tinubu start is a master. He's a guru. He's a master.
Somebody someone wants to, and even your candidate
Atiku is not my. No, I have no. Don't put my mouth. I can say I can say but I'm not in ADC. Have you not in the race? Is Amechi not in the race?
Now, if you look at us, the president 8 million, Atiku 6 million, Obi 6 million, also 1 million. Plus 6 plus 1 plus. That would be around 14 million, right? Now, if these three key politicians, like it or not, come together, pick a candidate, you know, and Tinubu stands on his own, don't you think the game is over? So
true. In this
no,
is
if that
this has.
Don't you think the game will be over for APC?
Beautiful. Came over. But the challenge we're having is that, sorry to say to Nigerians are not yet, I don't want to use the Nigerians don't have sense yet. Sorry to say. Nigerians are yet to, our biggest challenge in 2027 will be voter party and vote buying. And you said something, if this candidate had come united under a forefront and Tinubu would have been game over. You know, first of all, I want to make a statement. I have made peace with the fact that Peter Obi has left ADC. But it's so sad.
With 6 million votes.
Well, I have made peace. No. I'm building a preamble.
Okay.
I am
building 7 million votes.
I am building a preamble. It is so sad that Peter Obi will never be president of Nigeria. It is so sad. You understand? It is so sad because he is so. I am trying to make a statement. It is so. I say it is so sad. Do you know why?
If you outright,
I said I have made a I am not saying it, but he has shot himself safe. What is wrong? And do you know who I blame in the whole situation?
Are you angry?
I blame Atiku.
Are you angry?
I blame Atiku.
Are you angry that Obi left ADC?
No. I said I have made peace with that.
Okay.
I have made peace with that. I'm a party man. This is a party that we have sacrificed our time treasures. In fact, I've never had time for a lot of my friends and my own personal life because we are building and we are building and we have been building. So I have made.
And since he left, the ADC, your party, has not been able to gain members.
No. See, we have had, in fact, Barry Erufai and some other House of Representatives and Senators, they come to EDC. So 22, it's so sad that I wish we didn't come to the side that we have to pick sides, your ethnic divide. Where are you doing the South? But first of all, I'm not going to come and say because I'm a Southerner, I'm going to support a Southerner. I have not this thing. No, I am not. I have told you where I stand. I don't know who my party is going to bring out. My own is the power from this man that becomes a tyrant.
No, not here.
No, okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. I withdraw my words. Yes. I'm a patriotic Nigerian. Yes. Because before Tinubu got into power, he was a kingmaker already. Now that a kingmaker is now king, is a serious problem. And the only people that can help us, because the truth though, these Southerners should not be denationalized. We say, hey, they don't have numbers. They don't say, like, one Southerner marries one wife. At the highest children they can have is 8 children, 9 children. Well, in order to marry 4 wives, they have 24 children, they have 25 children, they have 30 children. If you mean,
are you mocking them?
I'm saying this to their own advantage. That is why I'm aligning with them. We need to wrestle power from this C to C that you have said. And the thing about it, power must belong to the Nigerian people. That is why I am not saying that I am supporting the North because no, I'm supporting the North because
they have numbers.
They have been. We need to. One man cannot be this too powerful. It is a problem. Are you not seeing the signs already? It is only when we decide. You can see. We can use. What are the signs? At least Nigerians can see that we can use our tongue and count our teeth. Let it not be that I am coming to I'm trying to use, for the lack of word, I'm trying to come and spur the people to God forbid a revolution. But I believe in a mental revolution. But the truth about it is that the time has come. We must put sentiments aside. We must speak as patriotic Nigerians. It is so sad. It is so sad that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, is actually taking us through this part. Tinubu was as an opposition leader. That is why he said Tinubu inspired me to be in new position. Let me tell you the truth. The reason why I'm in position is because Tinubu inspired me. In fact, last year they told me by Samuel what I did come to APC. I was the national leader of a political party. I have been interim chairman of forum of national leader of a political party. So if it's the kata from the Minister of Youth to Sheyi Tinubu, they had an easier way of going to the APC. But I said, Bola Ahmed Tinubu inspired me for opposition. This man started as an opposition leader, and now he's the president. So when I see governors, people jumping from, I look at them and say, if Tinubu can do it, why can't you do it? So in fact, I'm even inspired that to be in opposition by Tinubu. That even Atiku. But to say that, I would say because I'm not the NDC. I say no, I cannot be follow. But let me tell you something. Peter B has an effect. I call it the leprosy effect. And I say what happened in Labour Party will not happen in ADC. No, let me say something now.
You will say something,
okay.
But I really would not allow you to attack.
I am not attacking anybody.
Because
I'm not attacking. No, it's an elder statesman.
Who is leprous?
No. I don't say he has leprosy. No, it was a figurative speech.
No, you can choose a better word.
Okay. There's something. There's a pattern I have learned because we saw it in PDP, we saw it in Labour Party, but Labour Party was when I did that experiment. In fact, when PWB entered ADC, the national leader of Labour Party credit in order to call me, say, Barrister Morris, be careful. They say, be careful. They say so, I don't know this off record. Be careful. And I said, let me watch. And that is why, one of the reasons why I said, you know what, despite the cause of going to APC, going to ADC, I said, I must be in this ADC. Because we must rebuild, we must build. So I cannot, as a young man in this generation, I cannot be going everywhere belly face. I must stand for something.
Because you are not, you don't want to be on the ballot. For those who want
who told you I don't want to be on the ballot? Who do you want me to declare my? Do you want to make my announcement? Yeah.
For those who want to be on the ballot, it's where they will. That is easy for them, and they will go to.
I am not. We are changing. We are a generation that is changing. We are a generation that is changing the status quo of the way politics is being played in this country. We need to start being. We need to hold the people. Need to start holding people accountable. And I blame the Nigerian citizens. Under Section 69, it talks about the right to recall a senator and House of Reps member. How many Nigerians have actually invoked that section? We talked about Freedom of Information Act.
They invoked it against Dino, but it didn't work.
How many? And they start invoking it against Natata. That is bush hunting. But the people need to own the system. You know, we have the Freedom of Information Act, that Nigerian citizens can write a letter to any government institution demanding accountability. How many Nigerians are doing this thing?
Yeah, but the FYI Act still has a clause.
What is the clause? After 7 days, if you write and they don't want to, you can issue an action in court that they can pay you for damages.
Who has done it?
Because Nigerians are not. In fact, I don't know what. In fact, I don't know. But I'm even doing the job of National Orientation Agency.
Yes, sir. The NBA should take the lead in that.
Well,
you are a member.
Well,
we are here to see.
Well,
to see that move from the NBA.
But thank God that by July the NBA elections will be coming up. The current NBA administration will be running up. Yes, we'll be having this thing to Afamosigo will be running up, and the presidency, NBA presidency, will be zoned to the west. We have Akimboro, we have okay. I am sorry to that. Sorry to that.
Thank you, Barrister Maurice Ebam, for your time with us on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, viewers, this is where we stop this discussion and we'll move to Lagos for continuation of the program this morning on ITV.
Good morning and welcome to the continuation of This Morning on ITV. From our Lagos Network studio, I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels. Thank you for joining us this morning. And then this morning, we're going to be going straight to Rivers State to look at the Rivers State politics and governors walking out from the APC screening in Abuja. How will this affect the forthcoming elections? A whole lot of things have been going on around Rivers State politics, and then it's beginning to give some concern to some Nigerians, and we thought we should take a look at that this morning. And with me to do that in the studio is, of course, as usual, Mr. Tony Waje. Mr. Tony Waje is a political analyst who is going to help us analyze and understand what is going on in Rivers State. Mr. Tony, you're welcome to Better Chimzi. Chimzi is a legal practitioner and the former representative of the People's Redemption in Chimdi. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Let me start with you this morning. Can you run us through with what is going on in the politics of Rivers State?
What's going on as regards to a lot of things are going on now. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. We can hear you.
I thought your question is kind of vague. Can you make it precise, like direct? Because a lot of things are going on now.
Okay, so if you can run us through with what is going on currently in Rivers State as regards the primaries, or rather the screening.
As regards the screening, okay, screening exercise was conducted in Rivers State. In the past over the weekend for all aspirants on all the intending members to the Rivers Assembly who brought forth about 94 or so of them went for the screening, submitted all their required documents and all that, and then they were screened, right? 33 were made for that to represent in the House.
but we are good. So, news and then the publicity secretary of the party of Progressive Congress, Mr. Chibike Ikenga, live on Channel TV, when he was speaking about the candidate and the attitude of that. So that was how we got to find out from the publication that members who were vying for that post, who were classified as those in the Timbubara faction, were disqualified. Now, people making allusions, making publications on Facebook and all that, claiming that the disqualification in the tribunal, sorry, in the electoral appeal. So, to see how, while that.
Sorry about the network, and think our viewers were actually very hooked to this coming from Rivers State directly. Let me turn to Mr. Tony in the house. You heard what he said. And then Rivers State actually has been on the news for a very, very long time. I mean, I think people just kept quiet and put it aside because of other things that were happening in Nigeria. But right now we're back to Rivers State. And you heard what he said about the screening. The screening was actually a big problem. We also heard that even the governor walked out from the screening right there in Abuja. What is your take in all of this in Rivers State?
Rivers. People are tired of talking about rivers. The problem of Rivers State, politically, cannot be taken away from the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. Take him away from all this, and you see that there's no problem in Rivers politics. We were talking about Fubara. We were talking. Yeah, truly, he made governor. Somebody made him governor. Attention. Okay, I saw when Fubara went for the screening. A day before, other governors were there. It didn't elicit a media reaction. But the next day, after I think in the evening, this curiosity, Fubara didn't come for screening. What happened? I think the chairman had to calm everybody down. Like, we still have 3 governors coming tomorrow. The attention on Rivers, just because of one man, you don't get. It's just because of one man. It's because somebody wants someone else. This in Rivers State has unabated for 3 years. So I don't even know the time this guy will focus on delivering governance or the dividends of democracy in that state. It's all about politics. Okay, the guy came the next day, and then the next day, he spent 20 minutes. We're not sure he was screened. He said no comment. And what if people were not, and the next thing we heard was that the committee told him to take a bow and leave. I mean, so it's Rivers, simply because of Nyesom Wike. If anybody doesn't want to say it, but that is the truth. Remove him from the equation now, and you see there's peace in the state, and it's getting away with all this because it has someone who is enabling him, and that person is the president. He's the president. Okay, where is the place of Rivers people in all this calculation? Where is the place of Rivers people, this calculation? Okay, we're talking about election now, 27. We're saying, okay, and what is going to run on, for instance? It's going to run on his achievement? We're not looking at that. We're looking at, a whole lot of shenanigans, inconsequential things. Inconsequential things because Wike is making it impossible for peace to reign in that state. That is the truth. So we cannot just say this. That is the truth. I saw him yesterday was saying, am I a native doctor? It's irritating. We have other states, it's not only Rivers. We have other ministers, it's not He's not the only minister in Tinubu's administration. Why is he fomenting trouble everywhere? Why is it rivers? Why am I not talking about Imo State? Why am I not talking about Anambra State? Why am I not talking about Lagos? Why am I not talking about Ogun State? Why am I not talking about Edo State? Why am I not talking about Delta State? But it's rivers because of one person. Power is transient. I don't think they know these things. It will come and go. It's crazy.
Okay, well, you have just mentioned that Wike in Rivers State. If I can get Barrister back on the screen, Wike, you are saying that if Wike is removed, you will see that there will be peace in Rivers State. But this is Wike stating that Fubara agreed to step down after the president and assembly withdraw his impeachment. However, now he says Fubara is backtracking, claiming people want him to return. Wike's question was, who are these people? Stating that the politicians often claim that we are persuaded to rerun their elections. If we can have Barrister back. Barrister, did you hear what I said?
I heard what you said.
And then did you hear what Mr. Tony here said?
Yeah.
Oh no. The network is actually affecting us this morning. Okay, so this is what Fubara has stated. Let me come back to you, Tony. Fubara has stated, Wike is saying that Fubara agreed to step down.
No, they agreed to step down. For what exactly? That's the question. Step down for what purpose? For what purpose? You spent 8 years as a governor of that state. Why would Fubara step down? For what exactly? If not for dirty politics. Why would he step down? The question what he would have told us, oh, he agreed to step down because he cannot perform. Or he's not delivering. Or the reverse people are saying he should step down. For, you said he should step down. For what exactly? Because he disobeyed you. You feel he disobeyed you. So, but if the people like him, what are you going to say? What's your place now? Again, it goes back to that issue of we could be in charge of my sadness, my annoyance is the fact that the president is enabling Wike to do all this.
But the president called them for settlement.
He said, go. I mean, all the politics that will benefit just a few.
about, and you know, it's saddening to him how the politics in Rivers State is playing. But do you believe the incident will reflect deeper divisions within Rivers State politics?
All about Wike. Wike is just the leader of a political family. The political family comes together in a meeting, check who among their candidates in their party.
Okay, I think the network is not giving us a friendly atmosphere this morning. And then Chimsy was just going to explain how it is played in Rivers State. Yes.
I was expecting to speak like an opposition. But he's speaking like an arm of APC or Rainbow Coalition in Rivers. I mean, you want to explain to me, and Fubara belonged to a political family, and of course, Wike belonged to a political family before he was made a governor. Before he was made a governor. You don't need to explain that to me. I know already. But for you to defend them, I mean, it makes your stand questionable as an opposition in that state.
Oh.
I mean, you cannot condone this because he belongs to it. I mean, let him run for he has 4 years to run. But I blame the governor too. A weakling has no business in Nigerian politics today. They don't mix. You cannot be a weakling and be a governor at the same time. And you can see he's feeling the heat already. I mean, you have the instrumentality of being a governor of, I mean, we're talking about Rivers State here. You are the governor, the chief executive of a state like Rivers State. And you cannot stand up for yourself. You cannot stand up for people who believe in you. It's a shame. It's a shame. And I think Wike knows what he did by picking him up and saying, you fly a party flag in 2023. Because he knows that this is what he's going to get. There's no way. It's not justifiable whatsoever. And I don't want to hear that one state has done it before. We cannot continue to run the state. You picked him up, your political family, as you said. So what happened at the end of the day, because maybe return was not coming to the political family, pull of this because it's...
Do we have Barrister back on the screen? Okay.
You can't defend your party. You're defending...
So please go ahead. You were saying something.
Okay, so as I was saying, now this political family, they have meetings where they now decide after checking who is qualified for this office, who is qualified for this office, who is qualified for this office. And then they say, okay, this is the person they are jointly adopting. It's not a situation where we can just whoever you like. And people try to make it seem.
You know, but we are all seeing it in Nigeria today that Wike is actually the stronghold of Rivers State. We haven't even heard anything about this political family you are talking about. We just heard that Wike is a stronghold. He determines who runs and who doesn't run. Okay, so that's what the public is saying. If you can educate us more.
If you recall, when this issue began in 2023, about the later part of the year, at the end of the year, when the minister, Wike, was in the channel's interview, he had said it openly in his office that what really he was fighting for is the structure. He was not interested in preventing Fubara from running his government. He wasn't interested in that. Meanwhile, you recall that while Wike was governor of Rivers State, he was facing opposition. While Amechi was governor of Rivers State, he was also facing opposition. But the opposition they faced did not make them failed to carry out the duties they were supposed to carry out as governor. So Fubara has no excuse not to function in the proper way. He has no excuse. Now, while this battle has going on, he has been receiving allocations, he has been signing papers, he has been doing innovations. At least behind the government house, there was this, they called it government staff quarter, that they claimed they used to build. Less than 1 year, they are deroofing the entire place and renovating it. Then you are claiming that there is no budget. That's why you're not performing in the state. So where are you getting money from to finance these other projects that you're financing? The entire state is almost in comatose, and everybody is making it look as if it is wicked, it is wicked. What about the governor? What is he doing? Now, am I to believe that the governor is so weak that he'll be present in the meeting? In the same meeting, you will not agree that you are not running for second term. And then when you come out of the meeting, you will start acting contrary to what you agreed in the meeting. You were not under any gun influence. Nobody was pointing a gun at you to say you must agree.
Okay, Barrister, let me cut you short in there. When you at the meeting, you know, let me cut you in short. I mean, if you're just like us, you know, it's what they dish out that we see, then do not have a genuine, you cannot hold any water by saying that he agreed in the meeting he was going to run for 1 term and came out and, you know, decided to run for a 2nd term, because you were not in the meeting, except if you're telling us this morning you were at the meeting. Were you at the meeting?
I don't think what I have said, I have mentioned that I was in the meeting. I don't think I have said I was in the meeting. The media people working for the governor in Iraq, they are working for weekend. To a point where everybody now believes that a meeting held, and in that meeting, the minister demanded that the governor will not run for 2nd term. Now, that's what I'm asking. If they are telling you in a meeting that you should not run for 2nd term, and you knew you were not going to keep to that agreement you were entering, why did you even enter the agreement in the first place? Nobody was going to beat you, nobody was going to kill you. So I said no. Okay. You are just creating the entire state. You are coming from this political. You know how there is a political family of.
Of course. What kind of political point is the guy talking about?
If you know that you don't want to comply with the requirement.
Okay, Barrister, let me come to you as a barrister. From a legal standpoint, are there constitutional or party procedural issues that may arise after the incident, from this incident?
Now, if the governor says he was screened and maybe, or the news report is that he comes out of the screening committee venue. Now, that is not an emphatic statement. Nobody has actually said anything. Nobody has told us why he comes out. So we are all speculating points, the possible reasons why he would have come out. Now, the options available to anyone in the All Progressives Congress who buys the form to run for any office, whether governor, House of Assembly, head, Senate, or whatever, is that when the screening committee takes a decision that is not pleasing to you, you go to the appeal tribunal.
Okay.
Go there and go and express your grievance or whatever it is that you
Okay, so there's a place he can go and appeal if he... Okay. Thank you, Barrister. Let me come to you, Mr. Tony, in the House, because of time. What are your predictions for Rivers State politics in 2027 elections as it draws close?
If it's based on today's report, yesterday's report, in 2027, may be referred to as the former governor of Rivers State. That is based on the report that politicians are dishing out at the moment. It has an implication. It's a normal thing. Life goes on. The political family, as he's saying, you just pick another person and life goes on. And they don't care what the people of Rivers State want. It's immaterial to them. It's just what they want and how they will benefit from it. Based on what he's saying, obviously he's a member of APC in the state. You would have introduced him as a member of APC.
No, but he is not. He ran under the People's Redemption Party.
Then, right? Not currently, because he's not speaking like an opposition. It's like he's speaking in defense of the minister. How can you say, in your right conscience, that's handing in real?
Hi, it's that so very fast. Nigeria politics.
No. It favors members of that political family. The people does not count. We're talking about the people of Rivers State who the governor was sworn in to protect. But here we're talking about the political family. So they can change anybody if really the people of the state says we want this person.
Mr. Tony, we have to come back to continue this because time did not allow us to actually, look at it properly. And then to Barrister Bethel Chimsey, if I can have him on the screen. Thank you, Barrister, for joining us. Unfortunately, it was not enough for you to actually make us understand this political family in Rivers State. We hope to have you back to explain better what the political family in Rivers State is actually doing to be able to bring peace back to Rivers State. So thank you for joining us this morning. And to you, Mr. Tony, thank you for coming.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Bart.
And to our viewers out there, thank you for staying tuned to This Morning on ITV from our Lagos Network studio. I am Patricia Uremu-Gabriels.
Good morning. Welcome to the news update on Independent Television. I am Ikoy Davis. The Edo State Police Command has identified Alexander Omogiete as the victim of the fatal shooting incident that occurred on Sunday around the University of Benin Access in Benin City. The command's public relations officer, ASP Eno Ikwardem, who confirmed the incident to journalists on Monday, said investigations are already underway and assured residents that those responsible will be brought to justice. Crime correspondent Jolade Ojo has details.
According to ASP Eno Ikwardem, 3 occupants of a Mercedes-Benz Onwuke Blizzard, Alexander Omogiate, Chinenye Christian Mbagu, were driving out of the University of Benin through the institution's main gate at Ugbowo when they were intercepted by another white GLK vehicle. She explained that the occupants of the unidentified vehicle reportedly wound down their windows and opened fire on the victims before fleeing the scene to an unknown destination. Alexander Omogiate, who was driving the vehicle, was confirmed dead following the attack, while the other occupants sustained varying degrees of gunshot injuries. A female passerby, identified as Dorothy Uba, was also hit during the shooting and is currently receiving treatment. ASP Eno Ikwardem further disclosed that the command has ordered a full-scale investigation into the incident to ensure that those behind the attack are tracked down and prosecuted.
We received this unfortunate report. It was a distress call that came across to the command on the 10th, which was yesterday, around 5 p.m. The officers of Ugbowo Division was deployed to the scene. The Commissioner of Police CP Monday Agbonika FDC has launched a full-scale investigation into this matter to unravel the circumstances surrounding the murder of Alexander.
The police command has appealed to members of the public with useful information to report to the nearest police station or contact the command through its emergency lines to assist ongoing investigations. From Benin, Jola Deojo, ITV News.
A member of the House of Representatives representing Ovia Northeast and Ovia Southwest Federal Constituency, Omosefe Gabriela Igbinedion, has condemned the killing of an individual near the main gates of the University of Benin, Ugbo campus. In a statement, the lawmaker described the incident as tragic, senseless, and unacceptable, expressing deep sadness over the developments. While details of the incident remain unclear and yet to be officially confirmed, Right Honorable Mosede Igbinedion extended condolences to the victim's family and called on the Edo State Police Command and other security agencies to carry out a swift and transparent investigation to bring those responsible to justice. She also urged the University of Benin authorities to strengthen security around the campus gate, especially at vulnerable points and entry gates. The federal lawmaker assured the public of her continued commitment to improved security for students and residents across the constituency. The member representing Ovia Northeast and Ovia Southwest Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Barrister Mosede Gabriela Igbinedion, has successfully completed the All Progressives Congress APC screening process ahead of the 2027 general elections. In a statement, the lawmaker described the development as a major step in her commitment to stronger representation, effective service delivery, and sustainable development for her constituents. Right Honorable Mosede Igbinedion expressed appreciation to the leadership of the APC for conducting what she described as a transparent and credible screening exercise. She also commended Edo State Governor Senator Monday Opebolo and the Deputy Governor, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, for their support and encouragement. The federal lawmaker further thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC leadership, and the Northeast and Ovia Southwest Federal Constituency for their continued confidence and support. She reaffirmed her commitment to purposeful leadership, impactful legislation, and people-oriented projects. The Managing Director of the Independent Television and Radio has assured medical laboratory science students of the University of Benin of media support for their forthcoming National Association of Medical Laboratory Science Students convention scheduled for October 2026. The assurance was given when members of the association paid a courtesy visit to the corporate headquarters of ITV and Radio at Glasshouse Airport Road, Benin City. Joy Obarisiagbon reports.
Speaking during the visit, a medical laboratory scientist and national president of NIMELSA, Mr. Famous, appreciated the management of ITV and Radio for the warm reception accorded the delegation. He explained that the visit was aimed at seeking partnership and media support for the association's forthcoming convention, noting that collaboration with ITV and Radio would help expand awareness on critical health issues among youth and the general public.
The objective of this partnership, lastly, is to promote public awareness on the importance of health issues. We have deemed it fit for some of our activities to be aired and for the public to actually know what we are doing.
The delegation also commended ITV and Radio for their continued contributions to the development of Edo State and Nigeria through impactful broadcasting and public enlightenment programs.
So with this, I want to appreciate the management of ITV for receiving us and also for giving us the privilege to tender our appeals.
Members of the association later observed a 1-minute silence in honor of late ITV Benin reporter Kingsley Uchebu.
May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Amen. Responding, the managing director of ITV and Radio assured the students of the station's support and commended them for engaging the media early in preparation for the convention. He encouraged the students to sustain collaboration with ITV and Radio, stressing that the station remains committed to initiatives that promote public health awareness, youth development, and educational advancement.
This is the month of May, and they are visiting a media house for an event in October. It shows your ability to organize yourselves and plan. Because if you plan, you will succeed. And if you fail to plan, you are sure to have failure as on your report sheet. This is very, very commendable.
From Benin, Joy Obaisiagbon, ITV News.
The Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday fixed May 15th for definite hearing in a suit seeking to stop former President Goodluck Jonathan from contesting the 2027 presidential election. Joseph Kadiri reports that the Justice Peter Lifo adjourned the matter following the absence of the plaintiff, lawyer John Mary Jide Obi, and other respondents from the courts.
At the proceeding, counsel to former President Goodluck Jonathan, Chris Uche, SAN, urges the court to strike out the suit for lacking of diligent prosecution, arguing that the plaintiff had abandoned the case after preliminary objections were raised against it. Justice Peter Lifo, however, holds that there was no evidence that hearing notices had been served on INEC and Attorney General Federation, stressing that service of hearing notice is fundamental. The judge subsequently adjourned the matter and ordered that fresh hearing notices be served on parties absent in court. Plaintiff is asking the court to restrain Jonathan from contesting the 2027 election, arguing that having completed the tenure of the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and later serving a full 4 years, he has exhausted the constitutional limit of 2 presidential terms. The matter has been adjourned to 15th May for definite hearing. From Abuja, Joseph Kadri, ITV News.
The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM, has announced the minimum admission benchmark for the 2026 academic session following its annual policy meeting held on Monday in Abuja. Education correspondent Comfort Idoko reports that the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, also announced that candidates seeking admission into Nigerian certificates in education programs with a minimum of 4 credit passes will no longer be required to sit for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination.
At the 2026 JAM policy meeting, attended by heads of tertiary institutions and key education stakeholders in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, alongside JAM Registrar Professor Ishak Oleyede, approved 150 as the minimum admission benchmark for both public and private universities in Nigeria. For polytechnics and colleges of education, the minimum cutoff mark was fixed at 100, while colleges of nursing sciences will admit candidates with a minimum score of 150.
Any monotechnic or polytechnic in this country today now stands at 100. If you score 100 less than 100, it cannot be admitted. For colleges of nursing, the minimum score is 150. Anything less than that, you cannot be admitted to any of the colleges of nursing. For universities, the minimum score is 150 to be admitted to any of universities, both public and private.
The minister further announced that candidates seeking admission into Nigerian Certificate in Education (NCE) programs with at least 4 credit passes will no longer be required to sit for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. According to him, the policy was introduced to expand access to teacher education and fully utilize the admission capacities of colleges of education across the country.
Candidates seeking admission into the NCE program who possess a minimum of 4 credits will no longer be required to sit for the UTN.
The annual policy meeting remains a key event shaping admissions in tertiary institutions nationwide, providing direction for institutions and millions of candidates seeking placement for the 2026 academic session. From Abuja, Comfort Idoko, ITV News.
And this is where we'll call it a wrap on the news update at this time. Thank you so much for watching. I am Ikoy Davis. Good morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
Good morning. This is CMI Socials. Welcome to the street of social media, the city that really never sleeps. I am Anuoluwakmo Stevens. Better still, call me a social media butterfly. Now, today we begin in Kenya, where French President Emmanuel Macron interrupted a speaker on stage at the Africa Forward Summit in Nairobi to ask the audience to remain quiet. He says, and I quote, "This is a total lack of respect," Macron told attendees before urging those holding side discussions to continue them outside or in bilateral meeting rooms. Now, the French leader is in Kenya for the Africa Forward Summit, which has brought together more than 30 African leaders, business executives, and young entrepreneurs as France seeks to strengthen economic and political ties across the continent. Anyway, let's take a feel.
Go to our dumping sites, destroy our environment, open air burning, air pollution, and our beaches are dirty. So then...
Already? You're not waiting your turn.
I will make order. Excuse me, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. I'm sorry, guys. But it's impossible to speak about culture, to have people like that super inspired coming here, making a speech with such a noise. So this is a total lack of respect. So I suggest, if you want to have bilaterals or speak about somebody else, something else, you have bilateral rooms or you go outside. If you want to stay here, we listen to the people. And we play the same game, okay? Thank you.
Emmanuel Macron right there in Kenya literally telling them to shut up outside, you know. Well, how did you take this online? Let's look at tweets and reactions. We'll start up with this one who wrote on X. The French president went to Africa to tell people to shut up. Not a good look. Chris on X. Another user still reacting to this wrote on a line. Let's see. This one says, Ruto is weak. A visitor in your house shouldn't be one calling for order. As the head of the home, it is your responsibility. Zuko on X. Well, still in the story, another user wrote, grandstanding for the cameras as usual. Nothing genuine about that PR stunt. Daily quibble on X. Well, still taking more reactions to this beat. This user finally wrote, what's crazy is even in his own country, he is booed everywhere. So for him to think he can just get up on stage and take control of things like it is his ballpark is bluntly disrespectful. There's an order to things wherever you go. That's white superiority at play right there. Okay, well, interesting stuff, I must say. Now back here in Nigeria, in Abuja, the Minister of the FCT, Yesem Owike, has distanced himself from issues surrounding the All Progressive Congress APC screening of aspirants in Rivers State. Now, Owike insisted that he had no role in the party's affairs or screening process, stressing that he is neither a native doctor nor a prophet. He spoke during an inspection tour of ongoing infrastructure project in Abuja yesterday. Let's take a look.
I'm not a member of the APC, so I don't know what's happening in their screening. And I don't also know whether they published the results of the screening. So it will be difficult for me to comment. Even if they do, why would I comment? I don't know the reasons they have. So of course, our own party will soon start their screening today, tomorrow. So that is where you should ask me a question. What pertains to me, not what does not concern me. So that's what I want to say.
No, I asked because it's your question.
Yeah, we're not in the same party. So what do you want me to do? He has not reported to me that there's any problem. I'm not a native doctor, neither am I a prophet to go and begin to say something somewhere, no. So I don't have any role to play. Okay. Very much, that's the essence of a rainbow coalition. Look at it. We look at where we have the strength. We look at where these people have the strength. And we'll compare that.
Well, there you have it. Wike saying he is not a native doctor, neither is he a prophet. Now, let's look at how you took this online. This user wrote on X. Let's see what we have. This one says, how long will they continue to underestimate Wike? This man has shown time and again that he is a mastermind in politics. Okay, well, that's your opinion to this. Well, this user wrote, from his tone, you will know he had done something, hence he doesn't want to show it like he is behind what's happening to Simple Bara as we speak. Now, still reacting to this viral video, another user wrote on X, sometimes there are some wars you can't win. Wike is one of those wars. Fubara has done his best. For someone like, I appreciate 6 months as a governor and not 4 years. Okay, well, still on this one, this user wrote, city happiness in Wike's face. I could actually finish that right up. City happiness in Wike's face. See the way he is smiling. Alrighty, away from that, hashtag jam has been trending on X. Hashtag UTME has been trending on X. So we have the viral post, the viral tweet yesterday on Jam portal on X, where Jam did write that the heads of tertiary institutions in Nigeria had unanimously agreed that the minimum admissible scores for admissions into universities should be 150, colleges of nursing 150, and polytechnics 100. Now, the decision was taken at the 2026 JAM policy meeting on admission into tertiary institutions and the 6th edition of the National Tertiary Admissions Performance Merit Awards, which held at the Body of Benches in Abuja on Monday. Now, the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, he also insisted that 16 years remains the minimum age for admission into tertiary institutions. Now, let's take a look at how Gen Zs, well, netizens took this story online. This user for this tweet on X, if we could have the first tweet, Jenny wrote on X, is 150 not too low? You are not actually helping the students by lowering the mark. Okay, another user has something else to say. This one says, we are literally watching the standard of our education fall to its lowest in years. Well, still on the story, this user wrote, even at the previous 180, we still had graduates who don't know the full meaning of the acronym JAM or NYSC. Yet the government wants to further drop the bar. What's the point of the JAM examination then if you will need just 150 to gain admission? The board should be scrapped. Well, okay, well, still reacting, this one wrote, all of you ranting about JAM lowering cut-off marks, have you tried having conversations with your younger ones trying to get admission into higher institutions? Then all is not well. I will blame phone, social media, and the internet for this decay. Most of the kids are dumb. Okay, well, I think you should say some of the kids are dumb, not most of the kids are dumb. But away from that, let's go over to Anambra State, where the Governor Chukwuma Soludo, has revealed an ongoing crackdown on fake pastors in the state who exploits the vulnerable by preaching the gospel of salvation without the cross. Anyway, let's take a listen to him. Well, just to prove what he said he's going to crack down on fake pastors. He has started arresting them already. Same thing he did with native doctors. Now reacting to this online, let's take tweets and reaction. This user wrote, church is meant for preaching, not gossiping. Okay, another user on X still reacting to this. This one says, Anambra is yet to be Dubai. Stay focused. pastors are not part of your campaign promises. Well, still on this beat on Instagram, this one wrote, they don't even understand the implication of what this man is saying. He's actually mocking them and the God they claim to believe. How do you separate God from the working of the Holy Spirit? What this man is saying is, in one sentence, is that there is no God because miracles are the workings of the Holy Ghost. The Holy Spirit is the creative working ability of God. Can a man be more foolish than this? Okay, anyway. Away from that, finally, on TMI socials, in a video that has now gone viral, we get to see cash, well, actually tagged President Tinubu cash empowerment given to persons. Take a look. Well, if it is not politicking already, we have two tweets in this area and wrap things up this morning. With this user actually saying, if we could have our first tweet, this one says, temporary relief to make the gullible people forget the pain. Another user on Instagram still wrote, money that should have been used to fix infrastructure is now shared in bits and pieces. Well, it is on that note we wrap up TMI Socials this morning. Thank you so much for being part of the show. I am Nuoluwa Stevens, and from all of us on This Morning on ITV, Abuja, Lagos, and here in Edo State. We'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
ITV. 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 Certainly the